Okay. Here, yes, we have a conversation here. So in this conversation, we have different things. We have like Carl, Jim, and they are talking about the news. Catching up on the news. So that's something. What's catching up on the news? That's a question. So what's catching up on the news? This part. Catching up on the news, that means what? Trying to follow the new news. So catching up on the news, this one here. Continue. Following the news. Okay, so that's catching up on the news. Now let's go next. He said, hey, Jam, catching up on the news. He said, oh, hi, Carl. Yes? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'd like to know what's going in the world. Okay, so I know to go what's going in the world, going on in the world. So say it again. Hey, Jam, catching up on the news. That's continue following news. Oh, hi, Carl. Yeah, I'd like to know what's going on in the world. I feel exactly the same way. Do you read the paper every day? Paper. What's paper here? Yes, paper, as you said in the beginning. It's the newspaper. Very nice. Okay? So, every day, okay, it's the best way to get the news. It's the best way to get the news. So here, Jem, what does he think? He thinks, yes, he thinks that the newspaper is the best way to get the news. Really? I don't know about that. I get all my news online. So from the conversation, from what we listened, so it's what, he gets his news over the internet. Very nice. I check the news several times a day. So he checks the news several times a day. So I always know what's happening. So checking the news through the internet easier, as we agree. So that's what Carl wants. Online news is okay, but I prefer reading an actual newspaper. So what are the latest headlines online right now? So that Jem is asking him. So let's see. Oh no, I can't get online. I guess there is no wireless here. Say, would you mind sharing your paper? No problem. So that's the thing. So they were talking about the news. They were talking about how to actually use the news and other things. So one of them is reading the paper, the newspaper, and the second one, he's surfing it online. That's very nice. So this is how I get my news. Let's go next. Actions in the news. Let's see now some headlines from the news. Okay. Sharks attack. I'm so sorry. Shark attack here. There is a typo here. Okay. So shark attacks local surfers. Shark attacks local surfer. So what's shark attacks? You know the shark? The fish, the shark. Very nice. Attacking surfers. What's the meaning? Yes, someone on the water. Okay, someone plays on the water, surfing with a board. Okay. So shark attacks surfers. Give me a second, I'll show you a picture. Okay. Yeah, a picture. Okay, so shark attacks surfers. Very nice. Shark attacks surfers. Like in the picture here. So as you see in a picture, that's it loading. Yes, okay. As you see in the picture, so as you see in the picture here, so that's a shark, that's a surfer. He surfs the water. So shark attacks local surfers. Let's go next. Bear chases hiker up the tree. Bear chases hiker up the tree. What's the bear? Okay, bear is an animal. We've took animals lesson before. We've talked about bears and other things. So hiker, what's hiker? Okay, so bear chases hiker up the tree. So bear chases hiker up the tree. Now we're talking about what? The bear, the animal, chases. What's chase? Yes, like the police. The police chases criminal. So chase is like to follow someone. So for example, so like Tom and Jerry. So Tom runs. I'm so sorry. Jerry runs and Tom chases Jerry. Like Tom and Jerry. So that's like here we have like Jerry runs and Tom chases him. Connect. Pilot, the pilot, he crashes. He was on a plane, so he crashes the plane. Pilot crashes plane, no one hurt. So that's the headline. That's action in the news. Pilot crashes plane, no one hurt. Let's go next. Lightning misses golfer by 1 foot. Lightning misses golfer by 1 foot. Lightning is what? Thunder and lightning. These are what? These are phenomena. So these are phenomena. They happen. Okay? Plus, we actually have talking about this in the weather. So in the weather we said we have thunder, lightning, we have rain. So all of these have refresh your memory. So we said thunder, the sound. Thunder, lightning, the light that happens when it rains. Very nice. So that's thunder and lightning. Sorry. Thunder, the sound. Okay. Lightning. Yes, the light. And very nice. We said we have hurricanes as well and other things. So thunder, lightning, rain, snow, all of these are weather phenomena. Very nice. Let's go. We have a picture here. Wait. Okay, let's forget it. Let's go next. Boat overturns, all swim to safety. Boat overturns, that means boats, yes? Huh? Overturns. That's overturns. So I'll have like, for example, overturn, that means they change their direction. That's boat overturn. Okay? Let's go next. Firefighters rescues family car. Firefighter rescues family car. So the headlines are like this. The headlines, sometimes they don't have like grammatical things. So they use it like this. Okay? Let's go next. Hiker survives week in the mountain. Hiker. You know hiker? Hiker is the people who walk in the mountain. So, hikers. So next. So that's lightning. Okay? Fire threatens historic towns. Fire threatens historic towns. So that's another thing about fire. Fire, so it was going to burn historical places. Okay, so we're back. Now, this short break we were uploading the presentation and everything. Now, let's start the thing. Now, after talking about the news, after talking about all the things, all the sections of the news, and we discussed all the things, and we've discussed also like how to talk about the news and how do they look like when the news action, we've seen the new action, all of them are in the present simple. So most likely the news is going to be present simple. But sometimes maybe if I'm talking about a story or something happened, so I talk about the past. Very nice. Okay, so here let's talk about this. Here we have something new. We have inventions and discovery. What's the meaning of inventions? So that's a good question. So what's the meaning of inventions? Inventions is what an invention and discovery. An invention is a new thing invented by a person. A new thing invented by a person. Discovery is a thing which is discovered by someone, which already exists. I don't understand. Now let's explain this. Invention like this. Now, you know Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. But let's talk about this. When I go and discover the pharaoh's tombs, or I discover something old, so yes, it's already there. It is already existing in the nature. It does exist. So I discover it. I just see it. I discover it. But invented, I make it. Okay? Now, let's talk about this through a video and we come back.
Muslim history is overflowing with awe-inspiring creations in the realms of art, architecture, and literature, but it's also filled with many significant and world-changing inventions. Here are 10 of them as reported by CNN. Number 10. Surgery. Dr. Al-Zahrawi literally wrote the book on surgery about 1,000 years ago. It was used throughout Europe for the next 500. He's also credited with inventing forceps and figuring out that cat guts made great dissolvable stitches. Number 9. Coffee. The first pot was brewed in Yemen in the 9th century. In the early days, it helped Sufis stay awake for their late-night devotions. The beverage soon began to make the rounds in the area and finally ended up in Europe in the 16th century. Number 8. Flying machine. Long before Leonardo da Vinci started dreaming of flight, Abbas bin Farnas was actually trying it. He built his first flying machine in the 9th century, and for a little while it worked. A very little while.
He covered his body in a bird costume, guided himself into the harness, and told the crowd, "By guiding these wings up and down, I should ascend like the birds."
Number 7. University. The world's very first degree-granting university was founded in Fez, Morocco in 859. It was established by Fatima al-Thiri, a young princess, nearly 1,200 years later, and it's still going strong. Number 6. Algebra. Whether you want to thank him or blame him, all the credit goes to Persian mathematician Al-Khwarizmi. He penned the treatise that defined a new algebraic order in the 9th century. Number 5. Optics. Prior to the discoveries of Al-Haytham in the year 1000, it was widely believed that the eye itself emitted the light that makes sight possible. He set the record straight, proving that it takes in light that is bounced off other surfaces. Number 4. Music. Okay, not all music, but many from the Middle East contributed greatly to its development. The lute and the rahab, which influenced the creation of the violin, were both introduced to Europe by Muslim musicians. Also, the scale we use today is said to come from the Arabic alphabet. Number 3. Toothbrush. Thankfully, around the year 600, the Prophet Muhammad reportedly had the good sense to fashion one out of a twig. The tree it came from also had breath-freshening qualities. Number 2. The crank. The first known instance of converting rotary movement to a linear one occurred in the Middle East in the 12th century. Since then, the method has been used worldwide for lifting heavy objects, driving internal combustion engines, and creating bicycles. Number 1. Hospitals. The earliest known versions of them began to pop up in Muslim world late in the 9th century. They had centers for teaching as well as patient wards.
These ideas changed the world. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 inventions of all time. Number 10. Paper. One of the Chinese people's 4 great inventions, paper was invented and developed in the 2nd century BC by the Han Dynasty. The idea eventually traveled to Europe, where paper mills began manufacturing the product on a larger scale. Without paper, the printing press would never have been invented, and our world would be very different. We would not have maps, paper currency, or books to disperse information. Its impact is truly endless. Number 9. The compass. Before the compass, sailors depended on landmarks or even the stars to navigate their ships. But once the Chinese began using lodestones and magnetism to find their bearings between the 9th and 11th centuries, it quickly spread to the Arab world and to Europe. This not only made circumnavigation of the globe easier, it also made it safer, which kicked off the age of discovery. Number 8. Refrigeration. Though ice was used since prehistoric times to prevent food from spoiling and developing bacteria, the concept of refrigeration was only developed in earnest starting in the mid-1700s. The process was then refined and improved, changing the way the food industry transports and stores food. The implications of this discovery are far-reaching, as it transformed the way we eat and live. Number 7. The printing press. Though Johannes Gutenberg is credited with this invention, he actually perfected and popularized existing technology. By combining the Chinese principle of movable type with European press systems already in use for winemaking, Gutenberg created the machine that printed text on a wide scale, which in turn lowered the price of books and helped spread information and knowledge to the masses, spurring the Reformation, the Renaissance, and the scientific revolution. Number 6. Plumbing. The landscape of major cities would be drastically different without this innovation. After all, how would a high-rise exist without modern plumbing? Evolving from holes in the ground to chamber pots to outhouses and eventually to flush toilets as early as the 31st to 26th centuries BC, the development of plumbing improved living conditions for millions of people across the globe and lengthened our lifespans. Number 5. Medicine. Many medicines and vaccinations have extended and changed our lives significantly. Discovered by accident by Alexander Fleming, penicillin was the first group of drugs that fought illnesses like syphilis and strep infections. On the other side of the spectrum, since they were introduced to the public in the 1960s, contraceptives such as the birth control pill helped level out the global population and launched a revolution in social change. Number 4. Engines. These engines got industry and the population moving. Instead of relying on horses as transportation, people traveled across the countryside via Thomas Newcomen's steam engine as of 1712, which was improved upon by James Watt later that century, quickly becoming the backbone of society and sparking the Industrial Revolution. Internal combustion ultimately replaced steam and ushered in the Second Industrial Revolution, and allowed individuals to affordably travel great distances. Number 3. The wheel. Though it's still unclear which civilization was first to invent this simple machine in the 4th century BC, it's obvious that it's been one of the world's most vital innovations. The transportation, commerce, and travel industries wouldn't be the same without it, and today the wheel can be found in every aspect of our daily lives, from water wheels, gears, motors, and engines to more fun applications. Number 2. Communications. Several inventions changed global communications forever. Samuel Morse brought us the electric telegraph in 1836. Alexander Graham Bell's telephone was the first to be awarded a patent to transmit voices in 1876. Guglielmo Marconi and Nikola Tesla developed radio in the late 19th century. Moving pictures first came across John Logie Baird's television in 1925. Conrad Zuse developed the first computer in the early 40s, and Tim Berners-Lee proposed the World Wide Web in the late 80s, and they all made the world a little bit smaller. Before we unveil our number one pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1. Electricity. Not only did sleep patterns change drastically with the introduction of electricity, so did work habits. From Ben Franklin to Nikola Tesla to Michael Faraday to Thomas Edison, many innovators made important contributions to this modernization, which brought light and power to the masses. However, electricity only became a necessity and standard to everyday life in the mid-20th century. Before that, it was enjoyed mainly in the big cities. Do you agree with our list? Which inventions could you not live without? For more informative top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Inventions, some inventors, and the first video was talking about Muslims inventors. Actually, yeah, we have a huge part of like the inventions in the world. Like the first person to discover the circle of the blood was like, I don't remember his name. Okay, but he was a Muslim scientist. Okay, so like lots of things. The first person to tell the people that we don't have light coming out of our eye, we need the light to see, was Al-Hasan ibn Haytham, and lots of things. Okay. Now let's talk about some inventors and their inventions. Start with the first person. Now the first invention that we have today. It's loading. Okay. First invention is a computer. The thing that we all use. Okay. So who invented the computer? That's a good question. Needs an answer. So who invented the computer? It was invented by Charles Babbage. So when? 1822. Yes, the computer was invented 1822. It was made in Cambridge, England. Okay. He invented the computer, the first basic thing about computer that can calculate things until we have the evolution now with the new computers and the new things. Okay. So here we're talking about the very old computer. Okay. Let's go next. Next, the television. The television was actually invented by John Logie Baird. Okay, he invented that in USA 1926. So that's the television. So that's an invention. You know the television. Of course, we're talking about the very old one. Let's go next. The car. Okay, the car. Okay, it was invented by Ferdinand Verbus. Ferdinand Verbus, he was Chinese. Was invented in 1672. It was made in China. Okay, but this car was running by steam, not by gasoline nowadays. So later on, Carl Benz, you know Benz? Okay, he invented the first car powered by gasoline. It was in 1885 in Germany. Okay, Benz, yes, or Mercedes-Benz, that's true. Okay, so he invented later on the first car powered by gasoline in 1885 in Germany. So that's the improvement of the car. The first car was 1672. It was going by steam or something like that. And the second car, which was going by 1885, it was going by gasoline in 1885. So next, telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell. Okay, Alexander Bell, we know Alexander Bell, he invented the telephone. Without him, life was going to be very hard. The telephone is very important for our life. Now, if we're talking about the telephone, we use the telephone in everything now. We use the telephone, the normal telephone, and the cell phone. If you remember, like, cell phone is important as well. Cell phone now, we can do everything by the cell phone, especially the smartphones. I can do anything with a smartphone. I can watch anything. I can listen to anything, call anyone, even video call anyone. That I can do with the telephone. That's important. That's very nice. Back then when I was young, they were dreaming by having a telephone that I have the other person's picture in front of me. Now it's easy. You can do it over the computer, over the cell phone, over Skype. Anything now is possible. So when I was young as well, like they were dreaming of like trying to live in a space. And now they are studying actually this ability of living in a space. Back then when I was young, we're dreaming of the watch, can be a cell phone. Nowadays, Apple has this watch, and has this watch with Android system. So technically, we're going very fast. We're going very fast. Technology now is going very fast. So we need to cope up with technology. So he invented, Alexander Bell again, the telephone in 1876, okay, in Ontario. Okay, let's go next. The bulb. We were talking about him, Thomas Edison. Okay, he invented the bulb. Okay, it was invented in 1879 in USA, in America, in Chicago. Now pay attention to something important about Thomas Edison because they asked him this question before. They asked him this question. They said, you failed like 990 times. He said, no, I've discovered 990 times wrong ways to make the bulb. Okay. So he is actually the one who helped us to have the light in our lives. Okay? So next. Washing machine. The washing machine was invented by Alva G. Fisher. Okay, it was invented 1908, long time ago by Alva G. Fisher. And, okay, that person invented lots of things after that. Okay? Calculator. The calculator, okay, the original one was invented by, okay, Pascal. So Pascal invented the calculator in 1642, okay, to make it easier for us to make the mathematic stuff, the mathematic equations. It's very difficult actually to do the mathematic equations without calculator, especially if we have 4 actually like digits. If I have a number from 4 digits, like for example, let's do this mathematic calculation when I want 4 digits here and 4 digits here. And we want to do this mathematical thing. So if we're trying to think, we'll think about like 4 rows of doing things, and then after that, we will solve it. But if we thought about the calculator, if we use, for example, the calculator on a computer, so it will give it to me, what, 1 second, okay? Less than 1 second. Just write the numbers and press equal, so it will give it to me in 1 second. Okay, so it will give it to me in 1 second. Let's try it here. Okay, I open my calculator. So let's try this. Nowadays calculator. Sorry. Okay, so 9675 multiplied by 2687. Voila! Oh, so it's the whole number. So I have here like 8 digits number. 8 digits. So it's like this. So I say it's Sorry. Not working. Anyway, so it's 8-digit number. So Pascal was the person who invented the calculator. Let's go next. Atom bomb. Atom bomb is like the nuclear bomb. Now, remember Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Yes, they were struck by a nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb uses the nuclear reaction. So the first bomb was invented by Otto Hahn. Otto Hahn, so like, he invented that in USA in 1941, back then in World War II, when they hit Nagasaki and Hiroshima after what happened in Pearl Harbor. Okay? Let's go next.